morning out of Zurich, 03:56 in the morning. The risk is too great. Why Switzerland rejected a 5-day quarantine? If it's the first time on my channel, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. The Swiss government has rejected a call from experts in France and Germany, along with several Swiss cantons, to halve the country's quarantine requirement. Here's why. The health directors of Switzerland's canton met with federal authorities on Monday to discuss the measure the country has put in place to stop the spread of coronavirus. At the top of the canton's list was the federal government mandatory 10 days quarantine requirement for all returnees from high-risk countries. A handful of cantons wanted to shorten the quarantine period, saying it was too proportional. It added to calls from experts in France and Germany who wants to cut the current 10 days quarantine period. German virologist Christian Drosten has said a 5-day period would be sufficient, while France is pushing for a 7 days window. Switzerland, however, confirmed the 10 days quarantine would stay. Swiss news outlet Le Temps report that despite the cantonal protests, the federal government does not extend to release this measure. The risk is too great. Jean-Pierre Gattali, councillor from Aargau, who attended the meeting, say halving the quarantine period would be negligent. Galati said the risk of 5-day quarantine period is too great. A finding from his canton show that half of those studies are still infectious after 5 days. We would be happy to shorten the duration, but that would be wrong way at the moment, Galati said. This contradicts with information provided by Drosten that 90% of the people are no longer infectious after 5 days. Cantons call for shorter quarantine. Bern State Councillor Perry Alan Scheheg said imposing a shorter quarantine would be a more proportional measure which the public would more likely comply to. I think it is better to implement a shorter quarantine that it is respected rather than impose one which is too long that will not be. In my canton, we now have 3 hospitalizations for COVID, including 1 incubated person. On the other hand, we have more hospitalization due to the sport incident. However, we're not banning sports. Rebecca Riz, State Councillor from Vaduz, cited economic and social reasons for shortening the quarantine. Several cantons have reported that quarantine is badly experimented by part of the population and place certain economic sectors under strong attention, she said. I would like to ask for an in-depth reflection at the level of the Confederation to consider room for maneuver, such as being able to return to work wearing the mask after 5 days of isolation. Mario Pagaro, the Ministry of Health in Geneva, Switzerland, heaviest hit cantons by the virus, said managing the quarantine was time-consuming and difficult. Risky. A report by the local Switzerland in August, government health authorities are reluctant to shorten the quarantine. According to Randolph Urri, president of the Association of Swiss Cantonal Doctors, health authorities are discussing shortening the quarantine by wearing the mask instead. However, Virginia Meresse, head of FPOH Infection Control, said that while the matter is being reassessed, it would be likely to reduce the quarantine, which is already shorter in Switzerland than in any other country, which is usually 14 days. Currently, about 8 1,500 people are in quarantine in Switzerland due to exposure, and just over 16,000 after arriving from the countries at risk. So, Switzerland, life in Switzerland is shortened, as you heard before in another video that I said. It's challenging, I must say. In recent months, daily lives have changed, travels has become more complicated, and jobs are on the threat. I won't repeat it again because we have said it in the other video. And in this time of COVID-19, we recommend that you wear your mask, stay your distance, isolate yourself. And if you feel that you have some sort of cough that is reluctant to go, call your medical doctors before you turn up there. And remember, in the buses, the trams, and the train, wear your mask. Also in the supermarkets and other groceries, wear your mask. Anywhere in too much public and then you feel uncomfortable, wear your mask. But at all time, try to do your distancing, and let us all live in peace in Switzerland without this virus contaminating all of us. Switzerland is a small little alpine country, and we do not want our people to be infected. Once again, this is JCon TV out of Zurich saying unto each and every one of us, peace, shalom.